the working class! Kick the horses in the air!
On a day meant to celebrate workers' rights, the D.C. May Day March ended in clashes and arrests here in front of the White House. They marched from Meridian Park to draw attention to workers' rights, but were met by a small counter-protest where a scuffle ensued. We talked to some of the protesters afterwards to find out what May Day means to them.
Well, May Day basically began to commemorate the 1886 massacre known as the Haymarket Massacre, in which a number of workers fighting for the 8-hour day involved in a general strike were attacked by the police and were killed, basically. And as a result of that, the union leadership in Chicago was indicted for insurrection, and 5 of those leaders were, 4 were hung, and 1 committed suicide the day before his hanging. And so to commemorate that heroic struggle, we have May Day every year. But over the years, May Day has become more than just simply a commemoration. It's also symbolic of the struggle of the working class for a better world, basically.
We're here. We marched from the sort of a historically kind of oppressed neighborhood in Washington, D.C., which saw, for example, in the early 1990s, one of the only riots that we've seen in the last few decades in D.C. People of the Latin American community actually rising up when actually police officers shot a young Latino man. And we marched from that district into the government corridor here in Washington, D.C. We have the White House right here. We have Congress not too far away. We have the Department of Treasury close by. And we have all of the government buildings right here. So symbolically, basically, it is a symbol of our marching from a place that is historically oppressed into the center of our government district here in Washington, D.C., and actually calling for all power back to the people.
I think raising the minimum wage might help, but I understand business owners, small business owners might take a pinch. But also Obama's got his Obamacare, and there's a whole bunch of stuff about that. I don't know if anybody's ever read Obamacare because it's not very reader-friendly. But I would think that there might be some mid-ground where we could pay a living wage so that a living wage is actually so you could get ahead maybe 10 or 12 cents a month instead of being on a treadmill and like running like a rat and trying to keep up with your bills, because we all have electric, we all have rent, we all have water, we all have food, we have children. We have debts. We have insurance on your car. I mean, it's ridiculous.